Hello, Internet. My name is David Giroux, and I'm going to be reading my short story, Grumble Duck, from the current issue of From Glasgow to Saturn. I've just been assaulted with a duck egg. I'd been outside for 2 seconds, ordinary clothes, just wanting to pop to Waitrose, and one of my upstairs neighbors dropped it on me. Near me, anyway. Got splatter on my skirt when it exploded on the pavement. And I swear to God, as I ran back into the building, people up and down the street were clapping at their windows, like it was 8 p.m. on a Thursday 3 months ago, except instead of the NHS, they were celebrating my downfall. The moral? Don't piss off West Enders. Especially parents, especially mums, quite frankly. Posh mums who have read Dolores the Duck to their weans 10,000 times and think they've got some kind of relationship with me. Like that cow on Byers Road who told Glasgow Live she felt betrayed. How am I meant to have betrayed someone I've never spoken with? And the idea that I bit her disgusting son, don't get me started. Did I scare him? Aye, definitely. And I'd have kept scaring him until he learned to keep his distance. That's the whole point of Harry Mary. Which is what I'm called, by the way. The West End Witch? I don't like that. It doesn't even make sense. A witch's distinctive feature is a warty nose. I should know, being the author of A Witch's Potion. A serpent's tongue, a tiger's toes, a wart plucked from her crooked nose. But look at the photos my neighbors are tweeting. Is my nose warty? No, it's just long. The Adrian Brody, according to the website. Harry Mary's distinctive feature is her wig. Hence the name. Coarse black tangles down to my waist, 100% horsehair, hot as hell, but worth it. I remember the day it was delivered. I put it on, looked in the mirror, and spontaneously whispered, "Hello, Harry Mary." That was in mid-2019. I got the rest of the costume from charity shops and test drove it around town. That first afternoon, I saw a Garbo film at the GFT, Screen 2. It was well sold, but I had a wee section to myself, with nobody asking if this seat was taken or if they could just scooch past. On the eastbound train home, I got my own four-seater. On a match day. A forest of green shirts all around, and me with room to stretch out. I didn't even need to bark. The costume and some light twitching, grunting was all it took. That was my eureka moment, when I knew my life was about to change. But of course, I had to move flats before I could fully commit. Harry Mary couldn't just appear in my old building. She had to move in, establish herself. So I came to the West End last October. West Enders will do anything to avoid an oddball. Cross the street, duck into shops, even change direction entirely. For the first time in my life, I enjoyed going out. The physical commitment demanded by Harry Mary was a small price for my liberation from social niceties, holding doors, smiling, nodding, queuing, waiting for passengers to alight. The artifice of ritual politeness, the hypocrisy of it when society is built on competition, degradation, exploitation. Don't get me started. I'd always found it draining. And then once I got a wee bit famous in my 40s, it became unbearable. Harry Mary was my savior. She gave me privacy, even in a crowd. But I only enjoyed 5 good months before the lockdown, and now my cover's been blown within a week of the GFT reopening. All thanks to that stupid, bloody postie. You know how it is when you plan for every eventuality, then it's the silliest thing that trips you up. Maybe you've read Meticulous Marty, my poem about a boy who plans each moment of his school day, only to realize it's the weekend. That's what happened to me. I was doing everything right. I wouldn't so much as crack a curtain unless I was fully decked out. Wig, Brody nose, jerkin, pantaloons, jaundicey makeup. Nobody suspected that I wasn't an actual madwoman. Then an envelope with my real name got delivered to number 68 instead of 66. Why do I have to be Fiona Ramagatsky? Why couldn't I just be Jane Smith? And of course, the people at 68 have kids, which means they've got Dolores the Duck, which means they're under the impression that we've got some kind of sacred bond. In her initial tweet, the mum at 68 said she was personally wounded because I'd once barked at her youngest, scarring him. She didn't mention that that was the only incident. They'd been ideal neighbors ever since. Whereas that cow on Byers Road, her kid was an actual nuisance, always running up behind me, tugging my cold weather cloak. Not that I bit him, but if I were going to bite anyone. She told Glasgow Live, I'm a sadistic pariah. Pure slander, but try telling that to a reporter, they'll quote any old nonsense. My husband and I had invited Fiona Remagatsky into our lives, into our boy's childhood, to discover that she's a sadistic pariah masquerading as the West End witch. It's a betrayal that's been immensely painful for our entire family. God save me from the bloody fans. The fans who, if they're so enamored with Dolores the Duck, how about reading it a bit closer? Dolores was a grumble duck, with sullen eyes, a lowered beak. She never smiled or waved a wing, and none had ever heard her speak. She swam alone around the pond, etc., etc. Get it? I'm Dolores. When you're dropping eggs, you're dropping them on Dolores the duck. And the whole moral of that book is that Dolores is who she is. Because even at the end, after the frogs and the fish have thrown her the surprise party, remember it goes, when all her friends had said good night, Dolores curled up in her nest and smiled in the fading light. She likes this time of day the best. What are you not getting? Dolores wants to be alone. Isn't that what you love about her? That she's self-sufficient, that she's happy in her own skin. Isn't that what you want for your children? Then you come across a real-life Dolores the Duck, and you harass her online. You dox her. You drop eggs on her. One guy even yelled, she should have ducked! As if it's any good ducking when something's falling straight down. But as pun landed, people laughed from their windows. Then, as I ran back into the close, they started quacking. Laughing, clapping, quacking, laughing, quacking, clapping. A furious show of socially distant solidarity, pouring their rage onto the street, that ancient need to burn the witch whose death I was clearly proclaiming with my musty white skirt, my white flag, now flecked with dark yellow embryonic matter. It wasn't enough for them. They were baying for my absolute destruction. Yet I'm the sadistic one. Me, who just wanted to be alone. Don't get me started. Thank you.